Hello Leiden, this is chapter 13 on solutions. A solution by definition is a homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous simply means that it's evenly stirred. For our first example today, we're going to talk about yellow Gatorade, or it really doesn't matter what color it is, but Gatorade. Gatorade is a solution because it's evenly stirred. It's a homogeneous mixture. It's a solution. All solutions have at least one solute and at least one solvent. The main solute in Gatorade, you guessed it, is sugar. That's why people like it. The solvent in Gatorade is water. So the solvent is what does the dissolving. Water dissolves sugar. The solvent is also present in the same stage as the solution. Let me give you an example. Gatorade is a liquid and water is a liquid. Sugar is a solid. So water is in the same phase as the solution. Water is a liquid and Gatorade is a liquid. Usually the solvent is present in the greatest amount. The solvent is present in the greatest amount. There's more water in Gatorade than there is sugar. Water is also called the universal solvent because it dissolves so many things. I looked it up on the internet, and Gatorade contains 36 grams of sugar per 20-ounce drink. Now, 20-ounce drink is a big drink. It's a big bottle of Gatorade. In metrics, it's 6 grams of sugar per 100 milliliters of drink. That makes a 6% sugar solution. Gatorade is a 6% sugar solution. It's roughly about half the sugar in pop. Now, why is percentage important? Well, there's two ways to measure concentration of a solution. How much sugar is there? There's percent mass and percent volume. Now for Gatorade, we use percent mass. The mass of the sugar, we said 6 grams per every 100 milliliters of drink. Now let me write that. That's 6 grams of sugar, that's the solute on top, divided by the 6 grams of sugar and the roughly 90 or the 94 grams of water. So the bottom number is 100. So let me move it down here. That's 6 grams per 100 grams. And if you put that into this equation, you'll get a 6% solution. So what does 6% sugar mean? It means for every 6 grams of, what does 6% sugar mean? For every 6 grams of sugar, there's 6 grams of sugar and 94 grams of water, or 100 grams of solution. Solution is the Gatorade. Why would we want to know that? Well, sugar drinks are bad for you, and knowing the amount of sugar in them is important. There are brands that contain a lot less sugar than 6 grams. I can't remember the name right now, but Gatorade sells a low sugar variety. Gatorade 1 or something like that. I don't know, I don't drink it. Now, another way of measuring concentration of a solution is percent volume. And let's use for our example here, let's say tequila or whiskey. So if I have a container and I have tequila in it, and it says 40% alcohol on the label, and most hard liquors are sold at 40% alcohol. What does that mean? Well, alcohol is a liquid and water is a liquid. So we use percent volume to measure that. So the volume of alcohol in the tequila, let's say, is 40 milliliters. The volume of the solution, the volume of the tequila drink, would be 40 milliliters of alcohol and 60 milliliters of water. And this would be your alcohol. And when you put it into the equation, this equation here, you'd get 40 divided by 100, because these add up to 100, or a 40% alcohol solution. Meaning, for every 40 milliliters, or whatever volume you want to use, for every 40 milliliters of alcohol, you have 100 milliliters of solution. Alcohol and water combined. That's what 40% means. Now why do we use this one? Because alcohol is 2 liquids. We measure them using graduated cylinders. We use this one whenever you're involving a solid and or a liquid mixed together. We use this one when it's only 2 liquids. It's a way of measuring what the concentration of a solution is. Now you'll use these and you'll see these in stores. You see this one, usually percent, it says vol over vol, percent volume over volume, and this one's percent M over M, mass over mass. That's what you see in the grocery store when you're looking for concentrations. And again, why would you be interested in that? Well, you want to know how much alcohol's in your drink, you want to know how much sugar's in your drink. Now chemists use both of these, but for a chemistry student, something called molarity is much more important, because molarity keeps track of actual numbers of particles, not just their weight or their volume. The equation for molarity, well, first of all, the symbol for molarity is capital M. The equation is moles of solute divided by liters of solution. And yeah, there's that word moles, and don't be afraid of it. We're going to do one problem, and problem's here. It says, what is the molarity of Gatorade? And we know from the last page that we had 6 grams of sugar per 100 milliliters of drink. And I want to know the actual molarity. Well, I got to have moles as solute, so I'm going to change my 6 grams into moles. And I looked it up on the internet. Sugar, sucrose, weighs 342 grams per mole. And I'm going to put the 342 grams on the bottom because I want grams to cancel. And I'll put the 1 mole on the top. Now, I don't have my calculator around. Let me grab it, sorry. So I need to take my 6 and divide it by 342, and I get 0.0175 moles. Let me just make sure that's right. Now it is. You notice that sugar has a very big molar mass. So in my 6 grams of sugar, there aren't really very many particles floating around because each one of them is so heavy. Molarity has an advantage of actually counting particles, sugar molecules, rather than just calculating weight. And so chemists know more when they know the molarity than when they know the percent mass or the percent volume. Now I'm not done yet. I have to find my molarity, capital M, I'm going to put my moles, 0.0175 moles of sugar on top. That sugar is my solute, it's what gets dissolved, over my liters of solution. According to this, there's 6 grams per 100 milliliters. Well, to turn that into liters, I have to move the decimal back 3 places. That's actually only 0.1 liters. Notice it says liters of solution in my equation, so I changed that to liters. I moved it back 3 places to go from milli to liter. And now all I have to do is the math. So I'm going to take that number and divide it by that number. So I take it, and you guessed it, you end up with 0.175 molar, or moles per liter. That is the concentration of Gatorade in a new term in molarity, which means more to chemists, and the reason it means more to chemists is that molarity is a way of counting individual particles like sugar molecules that are floating around in a solution. Instead of just calculating their weight or calculating their volume, we actually know how many particles are floating around. This tells us that there's about 0.2 moles of particles per every liter, moles of sugar particles per every liter of Gatorade. And it's a better way of accounting, a better way of finding out actual concentrations. How many of these sugar molecules are floating around? It's called molarity. The hard part of molarity is you do have to change grams into moles. And then you plug that into the top number, and you're done. So you're going to be doing some worksheets involving molarity and percent mass and percent volume. Thanks for listening, Leiden. Have a good day.